Hey folks, and welcome back to Shaggy's Car Shop. On tonight's episode, I'm obviously still cleaning. You can see the mess all over. But I was going through stuff trying to organize things, and I found something else that I hadn't talked about. So I'm swapping my 69 Firebird over to a manual transmission, but I don't think I really mentioned it too much, so I guess we'll kind of cover what I'm doing tonight. All right, without any further ado, let's get to it. All right, folks, so what I have for my Firebird is a T56 Magnum. Now, I pull it out of the box. I know it looks a little dirty, but it is brand new. I ordered this off of Summit when I was working on getting things mocked up because I needed the transmission so I know where things were going. But I ordered it from Summit. It came here a year and a half ago, something like that. It's been sitting. Once I used it as a mock-up tool, I just put it back in the box to try and keep it out of all the crap. Now, with these transmissions, I think if you're doing, or keeping your small block Chevy or an LS swap, they aren't too bad for getting into position. Mine, with the way the engine had to sit to clear my rack and pinion steering system, and just to clear that cross member, if that rear sump was right up against the front cross member, I wouldn't have had any issues with this little bump right here. But since it had to go back, I think 4 1/4 inches to clear that rack and pinion steering system, I had to actually notch the hump in my floor pan just a little bit so this would fit. I don't think it'd be a real big issue. I just notched it, made enough room so I didn't have any clearance issues here. Now, this transmission is a 6-speed manual, and it is the wide angle one, so I think 6th gear is like, I think the close ratio one is like 0.62 on 6th gear. I think this one is 0.50. I did that just to keep my RPMs down while I'm going down the highway, since for my rear end I did choose to go with a 370 gear ratio, which should be pretty good with all the torque that engine's going to put out. I know on these you can change the shifter location. What I did was, this originally came flipped the other way. You can unbolt it and swap it this way. You can actually get one here. There's lots of different things you can do with these transmissions for your applications. I went with them because, God, I think they're rated at 600-700 foot-pounds of torque. So I didn't want my trans to be the weak point on my build. Some other interesting things with putting one of these into a 69 Firebird or mating it up to a 472 or big block Cadillac. So I mentioned on my earlier video on my engine, so up here where your pilot bearing goes onto your main input shaft, again on that engine, if you are going to manual swap it, you do have to have a machine shop machine in a spot for that pilot bearing. I of course had that happen. It wasn't too bad when they're building your engine or blueprinting your engine, got all your pieces. But let's go to my bell housing on here, and I'll explain what I had to do for a bell housing to mate it up to that caddy motor. Alright, we'll be right back. Alright, so this is the bell housing I ordered. It is from I think I got it on Summit as well, but it's a QuickTime bell housing, Buick Pontiac Olds, and it is a RM 8072. It's for Buick Pontiac Olds to T56. So that being said, Buick Pontiac Olds Cadillac, the old Cadillacs, had all the same bell housings. Chevrolet, or your small block Chevys, had the different bell housing pattern. But it offers you a multitude of different things, because I don't know if it was a Buick or a Pontiac that had the starter on the other side, but the caddies were over here. And then it comes also with a scatter shield plate, so God forbid you blow something up in there, like your flywheel or your clutch, it doesn't come through and damage your block. This is an SFI rated 1.4 racing. I don't think I needed one that tough, but there went all my bolts. But it's what I could find to make this engine up to this T56 transmission. And then for the clutch throwout bearing, I don't have all those pieces yet. Once I do, I'll do a video on that. But you know, it is built up for a aftermarket hydraulic throwout bearing. Excuse me, hydraulic throwout bearing. I don't know which one I'm going to use yet. I don't want to go with the old Z-bar stuff. Doing what I'm doing, it's just easier, so I can move it around in my firewall and get things where I need to be. Next up, I'll show you my cross member I had to get, just because things were in different places. So I'll be right back with you. Alright folks, so these are all the pieces of my cross member. I got it from American Powertrain. It's the X Factor. It's an aluminum cross member. The thing I like about it is very adjustable. You can go down with this, up with this. You can move things around quite a bit. And then as far as mounting it onto your subframe, actually it'd be more like that. You can see you have a lot of adjustments going here, where it mounts actually like that. You can move it almost a foot forward and a foot back, and then drop things down. So I went with this one because it gives me lots of adjustability. Again, it's the X Factor. It wasn't on the cheapest side, I guess, but it does adjust left and right in here too. That's kind of neat. But I figure rather than just trying to make one in my home shop with limited tools and things like that, this was my best option, and so far it seems to have worked pretty good when I mocked everything up. But I guess we'll kind of get into this more once I'm mounting the engine into the car. But I was going through all these parts and cleaning up, so I guess I wanted to show you this. Alright folks, that's it for tonight's video. Again, as I've been cleaning, I've been finding random parts and things that I really haven't talked about much. I know I mentioned, but you know, I figured I'd give you guys a little bit of a rundown, or more of a rundown. If I find anything else that I find interesting, I guess I'll make some more videos. As you can see, I look like I got hit by a hose again. It's rather warm in here. Making a little bit of headway. I know it doesn't look like it. I'm kind of working from back over in that corner this way. I still have a table of tools behind you guys to put away in my toolbox, and then hopefully can deliver all this cardboard off to a recycler and get some room over here so I can move things, and then knock on some wood since I got a stack next to me. Hopefully the next video we'll be working on a little yellow Volkswagen. Maybe, maybe not. Who knows? But stay tuned, and please don't forget to like and subscribe. Oh, and if you had any questions on any of that transmission equipment, bell housing, cross member, the trans itself, any of that, feel free to leave a comment down at the bottom and I'll answer the best of my ability. Otherwise, we'll catch you on the next one. Thank you.